I don't think we are going to solve the affordable housing problem by only building new housing with no consideration of the affordability. I don't think that anybody really thinks that building more Maseratis is going to make automobiles more affordable for lower income families. And I don't think that building luxury housing is going to make housing affordable. Building at the top end does not provide housing at the low end unless you were willing to wait 30 years through a whole process of filtering.
If the cost of building that housing is so great that only people with high incomes can afford it, there will be a certain amount of filtering, but not at a scale that it's likely to reach people much below six-figure incomes.
The public housing program as a whole has been able to house millions and millions of families over the past almost 100 years at this point by providing people affordable housing that's relatively quality.
Those conversations about not being able to build public housing today also just stem from people not wanting to just build affordable housing next to them because they think it's going to turn into ghettos and it's going to decline their property values and so on and so forth. The whole history of public housing, the way it was designed, where it was designed, the segregation that came alongside with that kind of led to the myths about what it really is.
In the United States, the conventional public housing program was so limited. You only had essentially very low and low income individuals actually living in public housing. It wasn't generating this sense that it was solving societal problems. But if you compare that with countries like France, Sweden, Singapore, countries where public housing forms encompass the living locations of a lot larger share of the society as a whole, I think you develop a greater political support for investment than we've seen in the United States.
Canada, particularly and across the provinces, had a massive social housing program all the way up until kind of the late 90s, early 2000s. If you look around Toronto, there's social housing across almost all the 140 neighborhoods. And so you didn't have these kind of pockets of concentration. You had it more kind of dispersed across neighborhoods. But it needs to be like some type of long-term strategy. It's not just for construction, but also renovating and also keeping up with maintenance and operations for those units long-term. If you're going to undercut the funds to actually maintain it over the life course of that housing, then that's just going to be reiterating the same type of myths that people have around social housing in general.
There's broad demonstration across public investment programs that if you provide a program that applies to everyone and that lots of people have access to, you'll generate public support for continuing investment in that program.
I think an expansion of public housing, providing affordability throughout the income distribution is simply a necessary part of any supply side solution.